Hello there, welcome back to Max's Cards and Dice Dugout. This is episode 205. And this time out, we are at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. The field is set for football. Baseball season's over. The Twins are playing golf or doing whatever they do in the off season. But we're here for game number 9 of the 1968 Minnesota Vikings project. We're using Downey Games Momentum Football. And this matchup has the Green Bay Packers coming to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Let's take a look and see how we got where we are with the Vikings and this dismal season so far. Okay, well, in the last game against the Redskins, the Vikings were leading a defensive struggle late in the game, 6-3. That was until Jim Nowatzki hit Jerry Allen with 58 seconds to go. A late touchdown gave the Redskins the 10-6 lead, and they got out of Minnesota with that win, silencing the Viking faithful. All right, so this is game 9, and in real life, the Vikings won this one 14-10. Let's see what they can do here. For brevity, I've already rolled for the star players that need to be determined. Green Bay, Bart Starr gets to start this time for the Packers. And the kicker is Mike Mercer. For the Vikings, it's Joe Kapp. And the punter is Bill Martin. Okay, neither team has a opportunity to return a kickoff for a touchdown. Both do have opportunities to return punts for a touchdown. And if that happens, we will get to it. Momentum does play a factor in this game, hence the name Momentum Football, and the Vikings at home are a 0. So we start out with a neutral momentum. Gonna roll 2 dice to see who gets the opening possession. Yellow for the Packers, blue for the Vikings. High roll gets the ball. Ties go to the home team. And so the Vikings are gonna get the ball first. And we take 1 off the clock for the kickoff, and we roll for the first possession. We got an 8. That does not fall within Green Bay's defensive control, so we're looking at 35 on the Vikings offensive side, and that's a punt. Oh, first, I'm sorry, we got to get the time. We got 5 and 3 for 8 off the clock. 1, 2, 8, 13, 16. That would be a 12, 16. It's a punt. Okay, Bill Martin's the punter. Let's see if this is returned. And it looks like it is a return, but no chance. Oh, well, we do have a slight chance of a punt return. Let's see. Need an 11. We don't get it. Okay, so first possession for Minnesota results in a punt, and Green Bay gets the ball. Got a 6 and a 2 for 8. That does not fall within Minnesota's defensive control, so we're looking at 33. Once again, I'm forgetting the time. 6 and 2 for 8 off the clock. And 9, 12, 14. That'd be 9:34. Punt. First, we'll see if there's a return. And there is a return, but not for a touchdown. So, next possession, Vikings, still in the first quarter. Take 9 off the clock. 11, 14, 18, 6:38. 11 does fall within Green Bay's defensive control, so we'll look at their defense. On a 43 is another punt. Roll for a return for Bill Martin. There is a return. And is that for a touchdown? No. So we continue on here in the first quarter, scoreless. Next possession for the Packers. You got 6 and 2 for 8 off the clock. Ten, 12, 18, 3:58. And we have a 12. That does fall within Minnesota's defensive control, and a 42. And a 42 is another punt. So both defenses thwarting the offense so far. Let's see if it's a return from Donnie Anderson's punt. It is not. So Minnesota takes over, and we're still in the first quarter. Got a 2 and a 1 for 3 off the clock. 3, 5, 6, 2:46. We have a 3 that falls within Green Bay's defensive control factor, and a 12 is a fumble. There is a chance for a fumble return for a touchdown. Let's see if that happens. We need an 11 or 12. We do not get it. Okay, the fumble was recovered by 42 Henry Jordan. And that is a momentum-changing play. So the momentum shifts to Green Bay. And they have possession. As the first quarter's winding down, we are scoreless. Got a 6 and a 1 for 7 off the clock. Ten, 15, 16. 36 seconds. We have a 5 that falls within Minnesota's defensive control, and a 56 is going to be a field goal attempt. And the kicker is Mike Mercer. So first, we're going to see if it's made, and it is a miss. So field goal was missed. We remain scoreless, and momentum shifts back to the center. The Vikings catch a break there. We could determine the length of that, but I'm not concerned with the Packer stats, so I'm not going to look that up. All right, Minnesota's next possession. 6 and a 4 for 10 is going to take us into the second quarter. Ten, 16, 20. 12, 20 in the second. Long drive. Or longish drive. Let's see, we have a 9. That does not fall within Green Bay's defensive control, and a 56. It's going to be a touchdown run for the Vikings, so they're the first ones on the board. And let's see who that was. 46. Clint Jones for a 7-yard run. So touchdown run for Clint Jones. 7 yards. And the extra point from Fred Cox is good. And the Vikings lead 7-0. And that touchdown is a momentum-changing play. So the Vikings are +1 on momentum early here in the second quarter. They lead 7-0. All right, next possession for the Packers. 4 and a 2 for 6 off the clock. 6, 9, 11. 10, 11. We got a 4 That does fall within the Vikings' defensive control, and a 43 is a punt. And let's see if there's a return for Donnie Anderson's punt. No return. Okay, so Vikings next possession here in the second quarter. Got a 6 and a 2 for 8 off the clock. (11, 13, 18). 7:38 in the second. And we have a 7. So 7 is momentum, and of course that's going to the Vikings. So we automatically look off the Vikings' offensive drive results, and a 56 is going to be another touchdown run. And this time it's Bill Brown with the 6-yard TD. And the extra point from Cox is good. And the Vikings lead 14-0. And another momentum change gets Minnesota to +2. Green Bay's ball about halfway through second quarter. They trail 14-0. Say we have a 6 and a 1 for 7 off the clock. Three falls within the Vikings' defensive control. So look at 36, and it's another punt. Oh, sorry, didn't get the time here. 9, 11, 13, 5:13. And it's another punt. Check for a return. There is a return, so we'll roll to see if Charlie West can run it back, and he does not. So Vikings remain +2 on the momentum, and they get the ball. 6 and a 1 for 7 off the clock. We got 12, 14, 15. 2:55 in the second. We got a 3. That does fall within the Packers' defensive control, and a 66 is going to be a touchdown pass. So Joe Kapp and let's see who he threw that to. Will it be Gene Washington? Yes, it will. And it's an 11-yard touchdown pass. And the extra point from Fred Cox is just good. It hits the upright, and it goes through. And it's now 21-0. 21 points for the Vikings here in the second. And so far, they've been able to hold Bart, Starr, and the Packers to a bunch of punts. All right, next possession for the Packers. 6 and a 3 for 9. And they run out of time. So it's the end of half. Where the Vikings lead 21-0. All right, so Vikings maintain their +2 momentum. Green Bay gets the ball to start the second half. And we take 1 off the clock for the kickoff. And I think I did miss a few of those. Oh, well, I missed a few of those on the Vikings touchdowns. But we should always take one time mark off the clock for a kickoff. And I messed that up. So this game's a little longer than it should have been. But here we go, first possession for Green Bay in the third quarter. We have a 2 and a 1 for 3 off the clock. 2, 4, 5, 13:45. All right, so a 2 does fall within the Vikings' defensive control, and a 12 is a fumble. All right, no chance for a fumble return for a touchdown for the Vikings. So let's see who recovered it. Alan Page, part of that dominant front four for the Vikes. So Alan Page gets the fumble recovery. Minnesota already has a +2 on momentum, so that will remain. And their next possession. Got an 8. That does not fall within Green Bay's defensive control, but once again, I'm forgetting about the clock. So we got 7 off the clock. 10, 13, 15, be 11:35. And as I mentioned, 8 does not fall within defensive control. So we look at the Vikings offense drive result, and a 25 is a quarterback sack. And that sack is for 5 yards. 1968, the NFL is not recording individual sack stats, so we don't have any of that on the team cards, which, by the way, are off camera. So Joe Kapp is sacked, for 5-yard loss, and that does shift the momentum back 1 for Green Bay. So it's now +1 for the Vikings, and we're still here in the third. All right, we got a 4 and a 1 for 5 off the clock. 5, 6, 8, 9:48. 5 falls within Minnesota's defensive control, and a 21 is an interception. And let's see who got that. Well, first we have to see if it's returned for a touchdown. All right, so we need an 11 to 13 on the red and white die. We don't get it. All right, so now we'll look to see who got the interception, and it's a 14, and it's going to be Hall of Famer Paul Krause. And that shifts momentum back to +2 for Minnesota. And they have the ball with a 21-0 lead here in the third quarter. All right, we got a 5 and a 1 for 6 off the clock. 6, 8, 11, 7:51 in the third. We have a 6 that does fall within Green Bay's defensive control, and a 23 is another quarterback sack. So the offensive line, which has had problems protecting both Joe Kapp and Gary Quazzo, the offensive line for the Vikings gives up another sack, and that's for 9 yards. And that shifts momentum back 1 for the Packers. And we remain in the third quarter. Next possession for Green Bay. 6 and a 4 for 10 off the clock. $10, 15, 20. That's at 4:40. Let's see, we have an 11 that falls within the Vikings' defensive control. Or no, yes, it does. And a 45 is a punt. Check for a return. Donnie Anderson's punt. No return. So the Vikings take over. Still in the third quarter. We got a 4 and a 1 for 5 off the clock. And 13 is 2:53. We have an 8. That does not fall within Green Bay's defensive control, so we're looking at the Vikings offense, and Kapp throws an interception. And no chance for an interception return for a touchdown for the Packers, but it does shift momentum back to the center. It's neutral right now as Green Bay gets the ball late in the third quarter. All right. We got a 6 and a 1 for 7. Nine, 11, 13. 33 seconds in the third. And we have a 4. That does fall within the Vikings' defensive control. And a 26 is a quarterback sack. So Bart Starr is sacked for 9 yards. And that shifts momentum back 1 for the Vikings at the end of the third quarter. Got a 5 and a 1 for 6 off the clock. That takes us into the fourth. $13:33 is the time. And let's see, we have a 5 that falls within Green Bay's defense of control, and a 35 is a punt. And let's see, Bill Martin, see if there's a return on his punt. There is. And let's see if that is run back for a touchdown. It is not. So Green Bay takes over here in the fourth quarter, trailing 21-0. We got a 3 and a 1 for 4 off the clock. 5, 6, 8, 12:08. 3 falls within Minnesota's defensive control, and a 23 is another interception. Bart Starr throwing his second INT. And let's see if that's run back for a touchdown. No, but almost. And it's going to be 12. Another one for Paul Krause. 2 interceptions for Krause in this game. And that shifts the momentum back to +2 for the Vikings. And so far, they have shut the Packers down. All right, in the fourth quarter, they lead 21-0. And here's the Vikings' next possession. We have a 6 and a 3 for 9 off the clock. $11, 14, 19 at 9:19. Got a 9. That does not fall within the Packers' defensive control. And a 55 for the Vikings, and touchdown run. And they increase their lead. And let's see who that was. Kapp for 5 yards. So Kapp takes it around the end, into the end zone from the 5-yard line. And we'll check Cox's extra point. And that's good. And it's now 28-0. Favor of the Vikings. Momentum's already at +2. And Packers next possession. Got a 5 and a 1 for 6 off the clock. 9, 10, 14, 7, 14. And we have a 6 that falls within Minnesota's defensive control, and a 44. That was a 4. 44 is a punt. And I need to take one extra off the clock for the kickoff, which I forgot to do in the second quarter. All right, checking Donnie Anderson's punt. There is a return. And let's see if Charlie West can do anything here. No. So the Vikings just take over with a 28-0 lead here in the fourth quarter. So we got a 6 and a 3 for 9 off the clock. Nine, 13, 17, 3:57. And we have an 8 in the blue and yellow die, so that does not fall within Green Bay's defensive control. And a 63 is a touchdown pass. Kapp. 2. Gene Washington for 5 yards. Kapp to Washington. Five yards. And Cox's extra point. Just clears the crossbar, and it's good. And it's now 35-0. My goodness. Did not expect this. All right, time winding down for the Packers. It's pretty much academic now. And let's see, we have a 6 and a 1 for 7 off the clock. 8, 9, 11, 131. We have a 7, so that means it does fall under Minnesota's, or excuse me, it goes to the team with momentum, which is the Vikings, so we look at their defensive control. And a 22 is another interception. Bart Starr throwing 3 interceptions in this game. First, we'll see if it's returned. It's not. And let's see who got that one. Paul Krause with his 3rd. Bart Starr is going to be seeing him in his nightmares tonight. Momentum stays a +2. And we'll see what the Vikings do with this last possession. I could probably just run the clock out. And I think for sportsmanship's sake, that's what I'm going to do. Well, no, let's just see. Let's let the mechanics work through the game. So we'll do this. All right, so we got 5 and a 1 for 6 off the clock. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Game over. So the Vikings do run the clock out. And they win this one. And actually, I think I forgot to take one off the clock for the kickoff. So anyway, it's all mathematical here. They score 14 points in the fourth quarter, and they win this one 35-0. So they get their 3rd win. All 3 of their wins have come at home. 2 of them have been against, or excuse me, I'm sorry, it's their first home win. But 2 of those wins have come against the Packers. They beat them both times this season. And Bud Grant's job is safe for another week, I guess. So that's going to do it for this one. If you hung out with me, I appreciate it. And I'll be back again in the near future with another video. And until then, take care.